So this is about your rights as tenants. You have a lot of them, and we want to make sure that as we go through this conversion process that you're protected. That, you know, there's going to be a lot of things happening. There's a lot of things already happening. You just haven't been able to see them yet. But we've been working on this conversion for at least 2 years now. Are y'all cold?
Yes.
Okay.
I did. I cut it off.
I cut it back on because I was hot.
Uh-oh.
Okay. All right. Okay, so what we propose to do is called RAD, which is Rental Assistance Demonstration. You're under a public housing rental assistance program. You live on our property. But what we're going to do is convert over to Section 8. And so this question asks, why are we doing that? Why RAD? Because we've got a lot of aged properties, like this property here. I've seen it go from Allen Chapel Apartments to Westvale Manor. And this was done in the early 80s. Some of you weren't even born. And so we haven't had any major renovations here for, 40 years, okay? And it's, how many of you live here at Westvale? A lot of you. So some of you, I don't know if any of you live in 2315B, but there's some serious plumbing issues there. Leaks are springing up. Have you guys experienced that? Plumbing issues, leaks coming from your ceiling, maybe moldy smells, things like that. So we know that all we've been able to do is put a Band-Aid on this problem. We have a full staff maintenance team, but we haven't gone in and gutted anything and removed old facilities, old plumbing, heating, anything like that in over 40 years. So it's time. We need roofs. We've done some things. There's a few buildings that have new roofs, but they're not even as new now. They were done in 2016. So we also have, again, infrastructure, mechanical issues. We've got sidewalks crumbling. We used to have, potholes in the parking lot that you can sink your car into. So we've had to get grants and look at other sources of funding to try to fix some of this stuff, because I assure you, we don't get enough money from HUD, and y'all don't pay enough money in rent, because this is a low rent program, for us to even be able to keep things up at the pace they're breaking down. Some of our residents are on zero income, so all we get is the subsidy that HUD sends us, which is not enough. And then the part that really has hurt our efforts are the federal regulations, since these are federal dollars. But we have a lot of federal regulations on us that it's really hard to just be a landlord, give you a nice place to live, call it a day. So this program was created in 2011 to preserve public housing, public and affordable housing. So we're not the only ones, Anderson Housing Authority, that's doing this demonstration. They're doing it everywhere. There's some cities that have no public housing, but they've got some beautiful renovated properties, and they're able to charge an affordable rent. So in order for us, we feel, to make a difference here in Atlanwood, we've got to rethink how we're operating these programs. So we're going to be converting again the properties to a long-term project-based Section 8 contract. Some of the changes will be property renovation with minimal disruption, where you remain in your units while we're doing the renovations, or major property renovation, which may include temporary relocation. We think we're on this number 2 side. We're planning to do major renovations here in Linwood, mainly Westvale, because it needs it. We need to tear out walls. We need to You know, this may not even be here anymore. These may turn into apartments down here because we need housing. We don't have enough of it in Anderson. We don't want to demolish Westville, and we just don't want to convert over to Section 8 and things stay the same. So those are our 4 options. Minimal disruption, major renovations, demo, or no rehab at all. So we decided that the second option was the best for all of you, okay? So again, it's just designed to secure affordability of converting the properties. The Section 8 contract will ensure residents pay an affordable rent. And again, you've got to go through a lot of the same processes you go through now, and you've got to be recertified each year. We have to do a capital needs assessment. We plan to continue to own the property, and that's down here. And we know that we don't have enough money in our budget to do this work. So we've partnered with a developer, and they're called BWI. They were here at the last 2 meetings. And they're going to be helping us to apply for what is called low-income housing tax credits. So how many of you know where Sweet Galilee is? Sweet Galilee is down there on 14th and John Street, across from the old Anderson High School on the west side. Y'all know where that is? There's some other apartments in the back called Field House. Y'all familiar with those? There's a new project that's going up. I don't know if you guys, and when you get a chance, you get out and about, go up 14th Street. And you're going to see that they've started digging dirt around the Jane Pauley Health Center, which is in the old Anderson High School. They're building some more apartments. Well, that is our developer that we've chosen to work with because we've seen their work. We know that they can do this work. They do this type of work. Okay, so they were here and they were able to speak to some of the residents at the other meetings. But those are going to be some of the things, the ways that we'll be funding this. Okay, so up here it talks about making sure that y'all benefit from this. We don't want to do something that's going to put y'all out on the streets. We really don't. We want to make sure that this is a win-win for us, for you, as tenants. So, up at the top, you see where it says resident meetings and notices. Did everybody get a notice about those first 2 meetings? I know y'all got this notice because I see y'all here. But everybody should have got a notice that said resident information notice RIN. Okay, it was about 3 pages. Now, whether you read it doesn't alleviate if you received it. I just want to show of hands that y'all received that notice. Okay? All right. Okay, yeah. So I just want to make sure that everybody received the notice. Now, I want to stop. I want to take a little pause. Put your phones on mute, please. I want to take a little pause to say this here. We had to call a 3rd meeting and make it mandatory, okay? Now, going forward, you know, we have a small staff. And these ladies went out and tried to get more people to come because this is for your benefit. But we can't hold your hand. If you get a notice from the Anderson Housing Authority, you got 2 things that you're expected to do. One of 2 things. If you can't make it, call your managers. The second thing, show up. We made 2 times for y'all to show up. 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. Because I will assure you, this is not the last meeting. And when you get these notices from now on, these are important. It's about your future here. So if you want to take a chance and decide that, they ain't talking about nothing, then once this conversion is over, you might find yourself going from, what's the highest rent? $571 to about $1571. That's what they're charging out here in the private sector for size apartments that y'all are living in. Believe me, we also work with landlords, over 300 landlords in the community, and they're busting heads out here. So I need y'all to understand how serious this is, and don't have us chasing you all over Anderson to get you to come to a meeting. What are the 2 things we need y'all to do? Show up or call. Yes, show up or call so that we can make other arrangements to meet with you. Okay? So I appreciate y'all coming. This is a bigger group than the last ones that we had. So when I talked about there's going to be some possible major renovations to the point where we may have to relocate some of y'all. You know, if for instance, what is it, 2207? We might start with 2207. Does anybody in here live in 2207? So we may be looking at opening up some other units in another building for y'all to move into temporarily, okay? Because we can't work in there tearing out walls, tearing out ceilings, floors, things like that, with you sitting in your living room watching TV. That's just not going to happen, because we got to keep you safe, and we got to make sure that we can do our work. So there might be some temporary relocation, but I don't want you to worry about it, because we have a plan and we have to compensate for it. We can't expect you that are living on, lower incomes to afford to pay a moving truck, to turn on utilities somewhere else. All those things, we know what it takes to move. So we're here to protect you guys from those things. So it says, a right to remain in or return to the property. I'm not going to say, Karen, okay, we relocated you down on Hendrick Street somewhere, but you can't come back. We got this brand new apartment now, and we just decided we were going to choose somebody else. No, we're not going to do that. That's why it's important that y'all get in good standing now. If you know you got outstanding rent, bring it current. Work with your team. They can put you on a repayment agreement. There's things we can do. We're still going to do housekeeping inspections. If you get a notice that we're coming, don't start mopping your floors and cleaning the stove when we knocking on the door. You have to understand that, these things are important, and it's going to determine how we move forward with each of you individually, okay? But you have a right to come back. You can say, I want to come back to 2207G that I left. I don't want to be down in the 2300 block. There might be a reason for that. You got it right. And so also a technique that some housing authorities have tried to use, you know what? We're going to rescreen you, even though you've been on our program for 10 years. We're going to rescreen you to try to weed you out of here. We can't do that. We can't rescreen and try to eliminate people. So basically, I'm saying we can't use things to throw you off the program. But you can throw yourself off the program in the meantime by not doing some of the things that I've said today. Okay? I about fainted when we had we call it a TARS meeting, T-A-R-S. Does anybody know what T-A-R-S means? Tenant account receivables. In short, rents. We don't allow. Balance is outstanding of $44,000. Look what we can do with $44,000. I might be able to put some stainless steel refrigerators in some of y'all apartments. Not when we have outstanding rents. So bring your accounts current. And again, relocation assistance. This other thing is to retain and strengthen your rights. You've got a resident advisory board. They were meeting before this meeting. You've got a president, a vice president, a secretary. That's the board for the housing authority. You have a right to, still file a grievance on your termination if that happens to you. Now, you also could say, you know what, I've just had it with Westville. It's not necessarily the apartments, it's the people, it's the stuff going on, it's all the riffraff in the area, whatever, it could be anything. Then you can request a tenant protection voucher. You take that voucher, move wherever you want to in the community. You do have that right as well. You don't have to stay here.
Really?
Yes. Okay?
Man, that's
So we'll be, but I tell you, and that's fine, I promise you. We are already in our mind thinking that we're gonna have about 117 tenant protection vouchers. And if 107, that's the total number of people that live in, there's 60 here, 24 at Landwood, and 33 scatter sites. And if 117 people say, it's a wrap, we got probably about 217 people waiting to take your spot. So you're not going to be looked down upon if you say, I just want to take my chances out here in the community. So with that, that is why we're doing the conversion essentially. The biggest program we have and the most popular program we have is our Housing Choice Voucher, Section 8. Why is that? Can anybody tell me why that's the most popular?
No neighbors.
Because it's your housing choice. Some of y'all came to us and said, I need a place. How many bedrooms? 2. On Westville. You didn't have a choice. Some people had a larger family. We tried to put you in Linwood or the scatter sites, but you didn't have a choice. When I first came into office here, the white people didn't want to live in Westville. And all the black people were living in Westville, and the white people were living in Linwood. So I integrated all the properties, because that's nonsense to me. We're going to live where we have available properties. And look at this nice little rainbow, people. We are living among each other. And that's the way it should be. There's no more, all the black people live on the west side, and all the white people live in the south. No, we have to live together where it's affordable and where you have something available. And it has worked out. It really has worked out. So that was a challenge. And once we said, smooth people where we have availability, nobody complained. Okay. So, go back to the RAD process. So this is a long process. I'm not going to say by Christmas y'all going to be chilling in your new apartment, because that is not going to be the case. So it's going to take some time because, again, back to the other slides I said, red tape, federal regulations prohibit us from doing anything with these properties without HUD approval. And to get HUD approval, it is crazy. How many people in here registered to vote? Yes. So those of y'all whose hands did not go up, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm just going to give you a little bit of why you should. Because our money is determined by the agenda of the federal government, which starts with the President of the United States, Congress, and the Senate. Okay, we've gotten money from the city. It's important to vote even in local elections. City council, the mayor. It protects your housing. So I would encourage you to vote and not just go in there and close your eyes and start marking numbers, but to look at who supports low-income housing programs, affordable housing programs, okay? Because that's the future if we lose those programs, what's going to happen to all of y'all? You don't want to know. I'm telling you, it's bad out there. We see people every day coming in our office we dang near have to call the ambulance. Their situations are so bad. They're so devastated. People are living in their cars, tents, everywhere they can because they just can't afford to live. And we've got you guys in a safety net. We pay utilities. We give you low rents. All those things. So this is a safety net for you guys. But without it, I don't know what to say. So this is the process. It's about a 7-step process. And right now, we are on step 3. This is what we had to do first. Have this meeting. Resident engagement. That's number 1. This will be the final step to number 1. Number 2, we've already told HUD. We want to enter into a housing assistance payment contract, meaning we want to convert over to Section 8. So then we still have 3 through 7. The final step would be construction. And then this little star, we are here. We are getting ready to unveil, a new experience for those of you that choose to stay with us. And I guarantee you, it's going to be nice, for us to be able to determine a new look for Westville, new opportunities. We've even talked about building some condos, some, duplexes in the back. But we want to expand. We don't want to just stay the same. There's 60 apartments out here. I can't take it down to 40. We can't take away through this. We're looking at adding more properties here. We only have 12 one-bedrooms in our whole portfolio. And they stay full because a lot of people need a one-bedroom. Okay? So it's hard. We have to turn a lot of people away. And that's the way it is across the city. So we've already entered into this contract. We still are waiting on approval. We should have it shortly, before the first of the year. We will know if they say, yes, you have our blessing to move forward. So, again, going back to what I was already saying, the Public Housing Authority must meet with the residents of the property multiple times during this conversion process, multiple times. So, this is not going to be your final meeting. And again, pay attention to your notices. We have to meet with you when we submit a finance plan. This is going to be in the millions of dollars. It's going to be a multi-million-dollar conversion. So we're planning to spend a lot of money here. But we have to get your thoughts on it. You're going to be part of this process. The purpose of the meetings is going to provide you information on the proposal, to collect feedback from residents, and respond to your questions. So you have a voice in this if you choose to participate in the process. So we've already talked about that. So the RAD information notice, you've already received that. The general information notice is to alert you that you have the right to relocation assistance if temporary relocation is needed. If we're unable to relocate you to another place and you've got to go outside of the housing authority, we've got to pay for that. And like I told the other ones, no, we're not going to get no big Mayflower moving truck. We might get like 2 guys in a truck or something like that to move y'all. But we got to stay within a budget. And we're not going to come knocking on your door on a Monday and say, all right, you need to hurry up because we're going to be starting on your apartment tomorrow on Tuesday. No, it's not going to work like that. We're going to give you an advance notice, okay? You'll know in advance when we start this work. So this is just talking about we've got to amend our plan. You know, our plan is called a capital funds and operating in our annual plan. It tells HUD what we plan to do with the money that we receive. It has to be approved by the resident advisory board. We have to have meetings with them. Any of you can participate in that. You might say, no, y'all spending too much money, you know, on that basketball court area over there. We want to see that money somewhere else. You know, you've got a right to weigh in on how we do things. But when people don't show up, we just go ahead and do what we feel we need to do. But if you show up, you can tell us what you would like to see. You could say, you know what, like you guys have those new cabinets. Some of y'all had brand new kitchen remodels out here. You know, those are some of the things that came about from talking to the residents. We need new cabinets. We need new sinks, things like that. So you can weigh in. You're going to be weighing in on a lot of this. So these are more about your rights. And we've already talked about that. But the main thing is no resident may be permanently, involuntarily displaced. You know, if you say, I would like to stay there, Ms. Kim, in Westville, I can't force you out of here. And I won't force you out of here. You have a right, you know, for housing, okay? Now, you may be displaced while we do the necessary work, but we're going to make that clear that that's what that's for, but we're not going to deny you the opportunity to come back. And so once this conversion happens, you're going to now fall under the Section 8 guidelines. And again, it talks about you may not be rescreened as a result of the RAD conversion. This includes screening for income. We're not going to check your income again, and we're going to do that once a year on Section 8. But criminal backgrounds and your credit. It's going to be just like you just took a little break from your apartment and came back, okay? We can't take you through all of those changes again. So again, we have to give you notice if relocation, notice moving assistance, benefits and assistance per the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act. See, that's what HUD does. They just throw a whole bunch of words at you, but mainly we have to give you assistance. And we can't start relocating anybody until HUD approves the financing plan and issues the RAD conversion commitment. We have to maintain a log for everybody that's impacted so that we can provide it to HUD if they request it. So, to maximize resident choice, housing authorities may offer alternative housing options such as vouchers, home ownership opportunities, etc. Residents can voluntarily decline their right to return. Like I said, it's up to you. We are not forcing you to stay here. Written consent by the resident must be informed written notification with counseling. We've got a housing counselor that's going to be working with you on this. Voluntary, you can't be pressured, and you have to be provided at least 30 days to decide if you want to stay or go. And we have to keep all the documents of this process. So under the Section 8 program, the residents pay 30% of their adjusted gross income in rent. This is mostly true for public housing residents except those paying a flat rent. Anybody in here paying flat rent? So there is going to be some ownership under the Section 8 program. I will tell you. And we'll get more into that as we go forward. But say, for instance, if your rent increased, we'll say $25 a month. The rent increase will be phased in over 3 to 5 years. So we're not going to hit you with it all at once. We can work with you, because, there's a certain amount of rents that's going to be charged based on this conversion. But we believe it's going to remain affordable for all of you. So I would just say, we've got different incomes in this. We've got people that work. We've got people that get disability. We've got people that, I don't know what other income, child support, retirement, pensions, okay? So what we're going to be looking for is seeing some type of income coming from the residents, okay? Everybody may not be able to work, but you have to get something. If you're unable to work, you should have applied for disability or be on disability. But gone are the days that you have no financial ownership into your housing. Those days are passing us by as a result of this. So you've got to start thinking about, and I'm not saying that it's like that for anybody in here, but you have to start getting yourself prepared to bring in some income, to bring some money to the table.
There's several ways you give money, babysitting.
Yeah, so whatever it is, lashes, I don't know, doing hair, braids, whatever, but you're going to have to bring something to the table, at least $50 a month. So these are some of the programs that they're saying will be in place. The only one that we do is the family self-sufficiency. We'll be continuing that. So if any of you have signed up for that, we'll continue it. If you haven't signed up for it, it's a good program. It's an awesome opportunity for you to have an escrow account built up. So if you're interested in that, you see our housing counselor. So this is something that's important. A requirement in this process is going to be, it's called Section 3, opportunities for low-income residents. So there might be some opportunities for some of y'all to work on this project. And then it's not a man's job. There's some things that anyone can do. And I gave an example like this. They're going to be tearing out drywall and all that type of stuff. It's going to be a lot of dust and things like that after construction materials and things. They might want to put together a crew of janitors or janitorial staff just from the residents. If you want to earn a little extra money, you may want to say, hey, I'm interested, in participating. If you feel like you got some skills in this trade, they can put you to work. So that's something that you'll have an opportunity to work on this project if you choose to, okay? And we're going to be pushing that. So, make sure. So we're going to have, when we do a new lease with you, we're going to make sure that all the, your rights are going to be in there. We have to incorporate it. Like I said, you still can file a grievance. There's still going to be termination procedures consistent with what your lease says now. So these are some of the voucher things that we're going to be looking at. There's some people here, there's anybody here living in the scattered sites? So the scattered sites people, your process is going to happen quicker than this. We're going to be doing a process of, we're going to be selling 5 properties. And these are properties that are they're vacant, they're terrible, they're costly. We're going to sell them out to the open market. But for the rest of the people that remain, and I've heard from a lot of the scattered sites people that want to stay in their house, they like it. These are nice, some of them brick homes, they are well kept. There's somebody popped their head up the other day and said they needed something. I'm like, I don't even think we've seen that person. because they have taken ownership of their property and lived in it for a number of years. They want to stay. So we're going to be moving those properties over to our nonprofit. It's called Anderson Housing Incorporated. And they'll be managing those. You're going to have the same managers. We'll continue to own those. But they're going to turn into, some of them are going to turn into project-based vouchers. So the voucher will be on the property. A lot of you will get a voucher, you know. So there's a lot of different creative things. I don't want to talk too much about how all that's going to work because it's still in the planning phase. But again, if you live in the scatter sites for a year, you've got a project-based voucher, it turns into a regular voucher if you just want to move out of there. And you can go get your own place, but you have to be there for a year. Okay? So, we're looking at having that process done and off our books, hopefully by the beginning of summer next year with the scatter sites. And again, there's 33 of them. We're going to be holding on to 28 of them. So, just a few things. Review the notices that we give you. Attend the resident meetings. Ask questions. Request clarification. You know, you might be sitting here like, she might as well be speaking Chinese because I don't understand things she's talking about. We will, I want to make sure that all of you know what's going on here. And it can't happen in one night. It didn't happen for us in one night. We've had to study and learn about this process. So any of you that feel confused, that don't know really how this is going to affect you, we're going to be having more meetings. You can always reach out to us and ask for clarification. You know, and if you need assistance, you know, we're here to help with that. So basically, this is just a process that we have to go through with HUD. And that's pretty much the end of my presentation. So, again, I'll take the applause, I'm tired. So again, okay, I want to open this up for questions about what I've talked about, okay? Not anything outside of that, but just based on, you know, what we're trying to do for your future, all right? This process, okay? You have a question?
Okay, my first question is, you said something about we're gonna take ownership of our voucher. Okay, my question to you is, just for example, I've been living out here almost 7 years, and I had come to the situation where I had a new replacement, and then down to the apartment. My question to you is, I really want the help that you're giving me, but God has provided me to get help from resources that they got. So if I move on my own, I need to say something about
So if you, her question is basically kind of what we've been saying. You have a right to say, you know, I don't want to stay at Westvale or Linwood. We're still, the meeting is not over yet. If y'all have to leave, y'all have to leave. So listen, it's not even been an hour yet, but I'm gonna tell y'all, if this continues, there's gonna be some problems. So I want y'all to witness what I'm talking about. I said we will be done within an hour. I plan to be done within an hour. But if you know, it's best to be invested into this process than to do that. Okay? So her question is if she feels like she's in a better place. She can get a voucher. The tenant protection voucher will be offered. If you want to stay or if you want to leave, you will be able to leave and get your own place. But with that voucher comes new deposits, higher than what we charge. They're charging deposits same as first month's rent. You got $3,000 to plop down to move into the private sector? Go ahead. But it's not going to be nothing against you. But my goal is, I really, I take this serious. And we have tried to do some things to help the residents. Because I know how hard it is out here. I wasn't born with no silver spoon in my mouth. I came from this program. So I know what it's like. And I know what they're doing out here. And you think that your ceilings are leaking, think about just caving in on top of your baby. So if that's what you want to do, then that's the path for you. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. So everybody don't feel like, well, I'm torn, and I feel like, I may have trouble in the Section 8 program if I don't stay at Westville or Linwood or whatever. No. You're going to be treated just like anybody else on Section 8. How many people in here are on the Section 8 waiting list right now that applied, was it 2 years ago? Okay. So, you might be called off that list before all of this happens. You're free to go. As long as you're in good standing with public housing. So I'm going back to what I said. If you know you're on the Section 8 waiting list, make sure that you can cross over to that program, because we don't allow people to go from public housing to Section 8 that's not in good standing. Okay?
Or income only.
So yeah, you want to clear up your accounts. You want to make sure that everything is good, because you could get called off any day. And you want to be ready for the call, because if you're not, your voucher don't go back on the waiting list. You got to wait till we open it up again. Okay. There's a couple questions in the back with a peach.
No, I'm first.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when people get their vouchers, is it going to be somewhere else for us to move?
No, we can't choose that for you.
Got to find our own place.
You got to find your own place. Yeah. Now, we own some other properties to take vouchers that's not on public housing, but it's a waiting list. There's a waiting list out here. You got, Cedar Ridge gave up their vouchers to us.
Section 8 vouchers that prepared, have something to find. There ain't nothing even to find, so then
What we got is housing lists, but see, but what I'm trying to say is, the program is called Housing Choice. It's your choice. It's not our choice. We can't choose, even if we wanted to. We can't choose your housing for you. That is a hold on. Wait a minute. We're not doing that. Okay, we're going to be respectful. You asked the question, I'm answering you, and I'm trying to tell you the guidelines. All right? So, we have lists in our office. If you come up to the housing authority and say, I need a 3-bedroom housing list, we're going to give you a sheet of paper that has all the people that have listed their properties with us that are 3 bedrooms. And then you go and you start working out your deal with them, not us. We don't issue no lease in Section 8. That's between you and the landlord. We're subsidizing the rents. That's our role. But all of you in here, you're used to us. We're the landlord here, just like it would be in the community. Okay? So no, we cannot choose your property. We don't have the manpower to choose your property. And it's against the rules for us to choose your property, because if it was up to us to choose your property, it would be AH choice, Anderson Housing voucher choice. We would be this is a housing choice voucher for you.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
What if you don't have income but you did sign up for Social Security?
Well, what a lot of people do, they'll show us that you've applied, and it does take some time.
Yeah, I signed up last year.
It takes some time.
Okay.
It's at least 2 to 3 years.
It takes time. It takes time. But again, there's only one word that really covers everything that I'm trying to say: communication. As long as if you lose your job, communicate. You can do an interim rent change. if you've done whatever it is, all we need to do, it's better that we know. Because see, you know, and not in your case, but see people coming in saying, I don't have no income. And then we see them online, you know, doing all kinds of other things. Okay, you know, box braids, 75, lashes, 40. You got income. It's unreported.
Under the table.
So, you know, just be mindful. If y'all honest with us, you won't have no problem. We will work with you. Yes. Okay, Carla?
For scatter sites, are you guys doing upgrades on those too?
We're going to be doing, there's some that need some major capital repairs. So, yes, answer is yes. We don't want to turn over properties that's going to be a problem to the not-for-profit. You know, so we've got a list of things that we're trying to do. We're not going to do full remodels, no, not at this time, but we're going to do some things.
So I'm talking about the ones that you're not selling for.
Yeah, that's the ones I'm talking about. Yeah. Like I'm saying, you know, what I described is going to go on here. We're tearing down walls. We're not doing that in the scatter sites. You know, we're going to make some modifications and some things. But, you know, this place, it's just, we just can't continue to do it. We're losing Westville, essentially. You know, 2315, it's, the price tags to fix even the plumbing is like too big for what we get. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I live at a scatter site, my kids getting sold. So how is that gonna work? Like, am I just gonna get a voucher, or am I gonna be put in another house and then have to wait for a voucher, or what?
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. How do you know it's getting sold?
It's been appraised and I was told.
Okay. So you're one of those 5? Okay, yeah. We'll talk to you.
Okay.
And what's your address? No, don't tell me. Yeah, don't say that. I know what it, yes. We'll be talking to you a little bit offline. You're gonna get a voucher for sure.
Okay, I just didn't know, like.
You're gonna get a voucher.
Here,
And what we wanna try to do is, you know, like I said, we manage, Parkview Place apartments. Those are for seniors, 55 and up. They're nice on top of the YMCA. We got Village in the Woods over here off of 16th Street. Those are all 3-bedroom ranches and 2 stories. We've got other properties in Westwood Estates. We've got AHI properties down there by Robinson. We manage Abbott, and is it Parkview and Abbott? Yeah, Parkview and Abbott, and then Westwood and AHI. So we manage other properties that we can use vouchers in. So like I said, we're gonna have properties listed. We've been having landlord, you know, I've been talking to landlords. We had a landlord symposium to get people ready for this conversion so that they'll know that, hey, you know, there's gonna be an influx of people coming from the housing authority looking for properties out here in the community.
I just wanna make sure I'm like really prepared.
Now some of y'all might say, you know, I'm sick of Anderson, I just wanna port to Florida. Yeah, you can, but you gotta stay here for a year. And then, you know, before you can port out of the community.
You talking about a year after you get these vouchers? Or?
After you get your voucher.
Oh, I can't do a 7 year, I got another year?
Yeah, so, okay, any other questions? Girl, right here.
So what's the contingency plan if we don't get funding?
Well, I believe, yeah, this is, we're pretty sure. Well, we're just gonna keep trying until we are approved. That's the plan. Yeah, we're gonna just keep moving forward until we get approved. Okay? Hold on there, yes ma'am. You're on public housing, scatter sites. Public housing, Westville. Public housing, Linwood Village. Those are the 3, what we call developments. Is scatter sites, which are houses all over the community, or Westville, 61 and 2s, 24 3s at Linwood. Okay? Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. I haven't heard you. You've already asked, let other people ask questions. Yes, go ahead.
So when you say you're gonna let people know in advance when you're going to like be renovating their apartment or
You know, I would say you're gonna have at least 30-day notice, because, you know, and it's hard to say anything more than that because we don't have our drawings, we don't have our construction plan yet. So it won't be a week notice, nothing like that. But again, I'm gonna go all the way back to what I keep saying. Attend these meetings when we call them. That's where you're gonna get your information and have a chance to ask questions. Okay? So don't blow it off. We're gonna have, you know, we can't fit 117 families in this room, so we're gonna try to make it convenient. So some of you that work, you know, in the evening, I would say, or through the day, is this time a good time? 5:30? Okay. And if you work nights, is 11 o'clock a good time in the morning? Okay. So we're kind of keeping it around those times, you know, to get everybody in. We had one meeting at Linwood to make it easier for Linwood residents. They got to come all the way out here. So, you know, we're going to be flip-flopping. But if we have a need to have just a giant joint meeting, we might be using something like the Impact Center to get everybody in there at once. We will help with transportation, but you just gotta let us know. We don't want anyone left behind because you may not be able to get there or anything like that. Just let us know. Just say, Tracy, you know, my car's been down, I need a ride. We'll make it happen. We got plenty of maintenance trucks, we got staff. Be glad to pick y'all up. Okay? If there's a need for something big like that. Okay, let me step on this side. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Homeownership. But she asked about the homeownership program. Yes, yes. So if you think you might be interested in something like that?
She's already started.
Oh, yeah. I want to get you with our housing counselor. Because there's down payment assistance, first-time home buyers, things like that. If you buy your own home while you're on this program, I mean, it just ends your benefits. You know, you won't be involved in this next wave. Because we don't really have an in-house homeownership program right now. This will be something you would go through in the private sector, but we have people that can help you go through that process. Yeah, but I think you still need to talk to Wendy, because there might be a way, another idea, you know, another opportunity for you to really do it well. Yeah, yeah. I got this big wall in front of me. Any questions from the back? Mike, do you have anything you want to say?
Just to emphasize that your voice starts with the resident advisory board, and very pleased to see everybody at that meeting. All of this is to try and help and assist gaining more affordable housing in Anderson.
Yeah.
None of us at the Housing Authority has the goal of taking away housing, trust me. And this allows us a management system that we can go after different kinds of grants, and have a lot more freedom. I know that might come as a surprise to you. That sometimes the money that comes from the government has a long string attached to it, but that's kind of the reason for this, and you know, we're looking at how we can add more housing units to the market, because we fully understand the problem.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions? So I don't think we're gonna meet again before the first of the year. So you'll be good for the next couple months. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you,
Yep, and also, you'll be able to see the plans before we do anything. You're gonna be able to see, this is what they're proposing. Y'all may weigh in on the colors. You may say, oh yeah, you know, I mean, we wanna be uniform out here, but we might be choosing between several palettes, you know, of colors and things like that for these apartments, you know, and your appliances and things like that. So we really want this to be a nice, when this place opened up, I think it was 1981 or 2, it was a fanfare. It was beautiful, beautiful. But over the years, I mean, you know, it's been thousands of families in and out of here. And so it's just been, you know, a little wear and tear, you know, but in the meantime, you guys, you know, before we even start this conversion, you know, this is something I talked about with the last groups. Take care of the properties now. You know, I go into some of these foyers and I just want to throw up. We're not leaving Rickers cups in the foyers. We're not throwing cigarettes inside y'all's buildings. You know, if you see some stuff like that, pick up the trash. You know, help it continue to look nice because, like I said, it might be some time, but we just don't want it to look like we've neglected it. Again, we've got 4 guys trying to take care of over 200 and something properties. They don't have time to bend over and pick up y'all's trash all the time. You know, packs of cigarettes, stuff. I see all that stuff. I mean, it's disgusting what I see coming out here. You know, all it takes is a couple minutes, just reach down, and even before you throw something on the ground, we got dumpsters lining this place. You know, just take pride in this because once it's new and nice, we don't want it torn back up again that easy. I've never seen so many doors with holes in them. You know, people ripping out stuff. It's ridiculous. So we spend a lot of money trying to make this place nice. I want you guys to live in a place that people don't know. You know, sometimes you can tell where the projects are. You can tell where public housing is. We want you guys to have something to be proud of. Proud to have your families come over, your friends. But we need your help to keep it nice. Okay? All right, any other questions? Yes, Terrence.
What scatter property you going to sell?
We had 5 appraised, and that's really all where we're at right now. We have five appraised. So we, it ain't yours, I will tell you that. So we'll be getting more information. So again, you probably won't get no more letters until 2025, beginning of the year. We'll convene back because now we're doing all this groundwork to get through those other steps that you saw, to have something to present.
Now, the 3-page letter, I don't think I got it. Is there a way that I can get it?
Yep, just request that, and they'll email it to you. All right, well, y'all have a good evening. Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you for caring about it.
I do care about you.
Your name wasn't on the ballot.
Huh?
Your name wasn't on the ballot.
Oh, no, I'm not ready for that.
Very close to voting.
No. Hey, lesser of the evils.
Well,
I'm sorry, because I was like, I do not want to lose my house up in there 100 years.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, we plan on hopefully keeping the people intact on the scatter sites. It's easier that way because we don't have enough housing to find housing for our 33 families. We don't have enough.
What you said, that was one of y'all going to sell. Yeah. Tracy.
One at your house?
Well, man, yeah, 16.
I don't know.
Still, we're not selling that.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're not. Yes, thank you for coming.
I took some notes from
You took some, okay, good, good. Yeah, we don't plan on doing anything with that. So,
I will,
yep, so should be okay. Thank you, yeah, so I think we pretty much got everybody. That we was able to present this to almost everybody.
take them to your door.
We put,
This
this last
take
notice
every one of them.
was a little bit rougher. Get them out.
So you want me to,
It's just so important to miss it. And then you guys are hearing things, you don't know for yourself what's going on, and
And it's always hard to introduce the concept.
to God,
Because they think this is all a big deal, and it's like, no, we're just,
we're just starting. So we were able to get that check submitted last Friday. And so Valeria, I talked to her yesterday, I said, Valeria, we got the check submitted. She said, what? Wait a minute, what? But it got kicked back to do, we had to do some work on the utility line. But it's been resubmitted. She was like, huh? So once she does that, they go in, and once it's approved, they go in and change all unit statuses. And then we don't have to too much worry about them too much anymore. They're not gonna be harassing us about these mods and all this stuff. But we're doing great. I mean, I think we're ahead. We had to hurry up and get back done. So anyway, yeah, we'll be talking about